Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to Organizing Life's Daily Demands. I'm Peter Gordon. I'm the president of New York Financial Organizers. We're daily money managers, and we help people with their financial organization. And the purpose of this podcast is to introduce you to other experts who can help organize other areas of your life besides the financial decision making we help with. And today I have a wonderful guest, Adria Gross. And welcome, Adria. Nice to see you.
Oh, thank you, Peter. Nice being with you. We haven't seen each other for a while.
Yeah, not in person. I mean, we've seen each other on these, a lot of Zoom meetings, but it's been a strange couple of years. But we've adapted. And I know you, and as well as myself, continue to help people at every turn, which is really what it's all about for us professionally. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your business?
So I have been in the health insurance industry now for 34 years. And prior to that, I had a totally different life. When I was 11 and a half years old in Hebrew school, I didn't feel well. And raised my hand. We were doing a map of Israel, and the rabbi was hesitant to let me leave the room because he thought I was trying to get out of the test. But a friend of mine walked me down the hall, sat down outside his office, went into a coma, and woke up about 10 hours later in a hospital. And the crazy part about that is when I woke up in the hospital, I opened my eyes and I looked straight ahead and saw a cross on the wall thinking I was in heaven. But to the right was the rabbi, to the left was my parents. I'm like, holy cow. I feel like Dorothy when she came out of her dream in The Wizard of Oz. But what happened is I wound up living with epilepsy for almost 25 years of my life. I used to average 18 seizures a month. At one point, I was on 32 pills a day. I was never controlled. But finally, God was extra good to me, and I had brain surgery. And right after I had the brain surgery, what do I wind up doing? Working for an insurance company after being there for 2 weeks, being taught how to deny medical bills.
Right.
So that brought me after 2 years at one insurance company, 10 years at another, that's when I figured out. I opened up a medical billing business about 16 years ago. And then about 11 years ago, I opened up an advocacy because here I had been not only sick, but I worked for 2 insurance companies teaching me how to deny. And I learned the ropes. I learned how to twist the insurance company's decision.
So,
and get them to pay.
When you said a medical billing company, what is that?
I was billing for providers. So, like when you go to a doctor, they have either they do in-house billing or they send their work out to a medical billing business. And we could talk more about that because there's very interesting information on that alone that I discuss with people that they should know about what can happen to their medical bills.
Yeah. What do they need to know?
Well, a lot of times, first of all, the major thing is this. Very often, your claim might go into collections. And there's a lot of reasons why. The insurance company might never received it. You might have never received it usually goes to the insurance company, but maybe the doctor didn't submit it to the insurance company. Maybe he sent you a bill thinking you're going to pay and they didn't have the correct information about your insurance.
Right.
There's a lot of different reasons why. Stuff gets lost in the mail. There are insurance companies that might lose their mail. Not saying whether it's purposely or not. There's a lot of things that go on. So it's hard to say. But, if you ever go into collections with your bill, you need to find out if it was ever even submitted to your insurance companies.
Absolutely. Yeah. We deal a lot with that in our business when we're helping people pay their bills. We very often have cases where we get the mail and there's a collection notice, and we take a hard look at it. And the first thing we do is we look for the original bill and to see if the insurance was, submitted, let alone, applied.
Right.
So it's very common.
Right.
And so, so you did the medical billing, and then you did a bill. What was the next step?
It was a very interesting situation. There was this gentleman who I met through SCORE. SCORE the RE stands for Retired Executives, and he helped me start the business. And this was a crazy situation. He came back to me after I opened the billing business a year later, and he says, Adria, I want you to take a look at this. So he had a case coming up where he was going to go to court because the guy had polio as a kid, wound up with MS, was in a wheelchair, and he was in a restaurant that was supposed to be handicap accessible, but it wasn't. He falls off the wheelchair, wound up in the hospital twice. Now they're asking for $108,000 back. This was Medicare. And he says, Adria, I don't think all these bills are related to my injury. So what wound up happening is I got him down. I looked at the bills that were definitely not related, questionable, and definitely related. And we took that questionable and not related away. He only had to pay back $22,000 out of the 108. And that was my clue about what I could do to help other people. Right.
So, it's very, it is a unique business. And how do you get your clients? How do people find you?
Well, I have to be honest with you. Throughout the United States, there's maybe 50 people who really know this business.
50?
Yeah. Throughout the United States. I mean, there are people who are starting out. They think, oh, this is great. I want to do it, blah, blah, blah. But they have no experience. So that's the hard part. They're having a difficult time getting cases. But look, I've had my business for 11 years. I was one of the first people to do this. I am one of very few people in the United States who's been in this industry for 34 years who really has the background to help others. When I started out, I worked for an insurance company that owned a travel insurance company. And like right now, I had a phone call from a family. The sister lives in Michigan. The friend who I'm working with lives in Florida. This guy lives in California, but he's with his wife right now in the Philippines. And they put him in with pneumonia. He went in around July 6th. He's still in the hospital. He's not out of there. And you should see what those bills are. And, because of my experience, I was able to figure out, okay, he has this major insurance company that's been in business for at least 50 years out in California. I almost all the insurance companies know me, even the executive offices. I call them up. They're going to cover him. We're going to get this whole thing taken care of. I was on the phone for 2 hours last night till almost 10 p.m. helping him to connect with this hospital in the Philippines, through the insurance company.
Amazing.
So I have to tell you, I feel so incredibly blessed because I know I'm going to be able to help them, and I'm going to get them out of this hole. Just in pesos, in the Philippines, he owes like at least $5 to $6 million, which is like you divide that by 55, then you'll give you an idea how much it is in U.S. dollars. Right.
So it's a fair amount of money. Obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I think I can get his insurance company to cover it.
So, and you also are an expert in Medicare coverage, correct?
So, yeah, one of the things that we've been talking about before this meeting is, I got to tell you, over 80% of the people out there, they think this is great. They see these commercials on TV about Medicare, and they say, this is what I need to do, blah, blah, blah. They go for it. Let me tell you, man, I have had multiple cases.
We're talking about Medicare Advantage.
Medicare Advantage. You get sick. You go in the hospital. You can't go home. You're going to wind up in a rehab. The rehab takes you in. Well, let me tell you, these Medicare Advantage plans, You're lucky if they'll let you stay in there 2 to 4 weeks. I have a case right now that was sent to me through an attorney. The woman went in, I believe, around the beginning of December. Now we're into February. She went in December 22nd. Now we're into February. They're not going to cover her any longer. She did not leave there until just about maybe 3 weeks ago. Okay. Wow. So now we're talking like July. She's leaving. And her bill is about $100,000. They want her to pay it. I'm going to fight. And the one to whom I'm fighting is going to be the insurance company. She worked for a large corporation. They gave her coverage for Medicare. It's a Medicare Advantage plan.
The company she worked for gave her a Medicare Advantage?
Yes. So they're paying an insurance company. They're paying an insurance company, and the insurance company is cutting her off. They say we're not going to pay this anymore.
Well, let's take a step back, because this is really important. As you mentioned, there are a lot of commercials. I can think of Joe Namath as one who's right. And people see it. And I have many clients who've gone from, let's call it traditional Medicare coverage, the supplemental Medicare coverage, to the Medicare Advantage, right? So Medicare covers 80% of your medical costs, and then you need for that 20% as supplemental coverage.
Right, and you also need a prescription plan, Part D.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
And so Medicare Advantage, is the benefit to that is that it's a zero premium. It doesn't cost you anything.
Well, some people do have to pay premium. It depends on what your income is.
So what's the downside?
The downside is, God forbid, you wind up in a rehab and you have to be there for a longer period of time than the commercial insurance company agrees with. You're going to pay for everything when they cut you off. And people are unaware of it. I've overturned so many cases, and I fight with the insurance company, and I get letters from the providers, and I work with the nursing facilities or the rehabs, because I got to tell you, this is pretty bad. People, they want them out of there. They can't even walk. Right. They can't go up the stairs to get into their house. It's really bad. You've got to fight for this.
Yeah. Well, and it's all about people, thinking they're getting something, to their benefit, but it's really detrimental. The potential for them, for a senior person to be in a rehab, after something happens, is very high. And so if you can afford it, it's worthwhile doing. If it is a benefit if you can afford it.
Right.
In many ways, then that I understand, but generally my clients can't afford the traditional supplemental.
Right. And it's not even just that, the thing is that sometimes you got to get pre-authorization before you go in to see a doctor. Sometimes you can't even go out of state. You're not even covered out of state. Right.
And not all doctors take it.
And listen, there's a major hospital in New York City that will not take any Advantage plans.
So that's a real problem. Well, another issue that I know we deal with a lot is long-term care insurance. What's your take?
Okay, so what's going on there is, look, I have a friend who got long-term care a long time ago. He did pass away a couple of years ago, but when he wound up in one of these assisted living, living facilities, he was covered for $12,000 a month, unlimited. I mean, it was insane.
That's an old policy.
Right. And the policies now, they're so limited. It's crazy. And it's not cheap. They're very costly.
Right.
So, you could talk to your brokers about it, about what they recommend. I have to be honest, I haven't purchased anything yet. I've been thinking about it because I'm a little nervous, but they have new types of policies that are also considered to be investments.
Right.
So that you really have to talk to your brokers about it and see what they recommend. Yeah. But I have to tell you, the issue is this: the long-term care policies, they don't have the money to pay out. So what's been happening is they're getting denials, and then they come to me and they say, Adria, can you help us with this denial? Can you get it overturned? And I have been, thank God, I have been successful in each one.
Right. So those denials, where along the way are those denials happening? Is the denial for getting benefits or to actually being covered?
It's being covered. And then what they're going to do is they're going to come, they're going to interview you. You have to reach
The
out to the
assessment.
doctors. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's a lot of work if they deny you.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I have to tell you, I've gotten each one. I mean, I make sure that they match what their policy says, because I also used to write policies for insurance companies. As long as their situation matches what the policy says, there's no reason why you should be denied. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I know part of our business is to help people file those claims and make sure they get paid. That's a big selling point of what we do, and we help. We have a couple of clients that we make sure that they do that. And as you said, the insurance companies don't always want to pay, so you really have to make sure all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted.
Right.
When you make that submission. Now, I know you published a book. Can you want to tell us about it?
It's called Solved Curing Your Medical Insurance Problems. Solved Curing Your Medical Insurance Problems. And it was endorsed by Ralph Nader. He liked it so much he won an international edition. It's called Multi-Payer Medicine Nightmare, Made in the USA. So the book is really a guide on, in it, I can give you like common reasons for denials. Like I was saying.
You have a copy there?
I don't have a copy here with me yet. But it's available on Amazon. It's $13.95. If you'd like, purchase it. It has valuable information in there. I never thought that Ralph Nader would like it so much that he would endorse it, but there's a lot of good information in there to help you. Reasons for denials, why claims are denied, what to do if your claim is denied. And it also talks about what you see on medical bills. A lot of times if they submit a bill and they do it incorrectly, you're not going to get paid. So you have to be aware of a lot of this information.
Right. And what we'll do is we'll put the name of the book and where it can be purchased with a link in the description on the podcast. Well, this was really great. This was really informative, as I knew it would be. I turn to you quite a bit when I have a question.
Right.
And one thing about Adria is she's always there to answer a question. It's really remarkable. And I want to thank you for that.
Oh, thank you for having me on, Peter.
Sure. And ironically, like my background is such because I'm in a bungalow in Monroe, New York, and Adria's office is 10 minutes away. So
I hope to see Peter this afternoon.
We'll definitely see each other.
Yeah.
Okay, Adria. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Everybody. Thanks, Peter.
I look forward to seeing you and having you hear us at our next podcast.